As a small business owner, we are always trying for new and better things where we can promote our businesses, maybe ourselves, our products and services. And you have to admit that it's a very confusing, maybe a little too fragmented. You have content marketing, social media marketing, video marketing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that entire gamut of things. And you come to a point right now where ठीक है सारा कुछ करना है बट इतना सारा करके एक्चुअली मिलेगा क्या मुझे यू नो एंड उसका is there any guarantee of the fact, is there basically any predictability that I can look at in approaching this entire thing? And the same questions plagued me. I gone from platform to platform, trying to help my businesses. We started off like just doing content marketing with websites and SEO and brand, moved on to like looking into um, things like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And trust me, sure, there is a level of success that you can get organically on these platforms. There is no doubt about it. But they require that patience, they require that consistency, they require knowing the tools of the trade, they require the kind of tactics that are there, and they require the kind of mindset that you are trying to build for your businesses. आप ऐसे ही जाके बोल नहीं सकते हो कि मुझे ये बेचना है, right? You have to like build the entire ecosystem around it. However, there is now uh, an opportunity. In fact, this opportunity has been there for a while, but I see as small business owners, it's remained untapped, untouched generally, where you get an opportunity not just to talk about yourself, but an opportunity to build your personal brand, build recognition, build relationships and connections with other uh, business owners perhaps, or basically people who have access to your audiences. And we have a special guest here today who can talk about these things with authority, with efficiency, and with the kind of knowledge that he brings to the table, because he has interviewed by far some of the biggest names that we know in marketing. This includes people like John Lee Dumas, Steve Larson, Daryl Eves, Christina Mann. The list still keeps going. And he says that he's just getting started. It's not even the end of the list, because I've had a glimpse of his list and I think it's like 200 plus odd, and maybe he's just warming up to this entire thing. So let me introduce you to the one and only, and perhaps India's fastest growing interview podcast coach, Nilesh Jain. Nilesh, welcome to the show,
Thank
brother.
thank you so much, Amit Bhai, for inviting me and giving my great introduction. And मजा आ गया सुन के. Thank you for sharing.
Before I even start asking Nilesh a couple of questions, I must also admit to the fact that I'm slightly envious of Nilesh. That is purely because of the fact that Nilesh is a silent action taker. It is a rare quality. We are all like great planners, पर जब भी आता है एक्शन लेने के लिए हम ज़्यादातर कर नहीं पाते. But Nilesh is the exact opposite. Sometimes I think when I look at how consistently Nilesh like goes through his frequency or his schedule, I sometimes feel about like how is he doing it like on a beat, what is that rhythm, how does he think about all of these things? So that is a special quality that I'm sure that Nilesh will like थोड़ा खुलासा करेंगे कि कैसे एक्चुअली एक्शन लेना, how does he get into that perspective. of taking action. But to start off with, Nilesh, I really need to ask you to introduce yourself, because I feel I've done a very poor job of introducing you. Uh, Please introduce yourself and tell us all, how did you get into this opportunity of interview podcasting? Because as far as I see, yes, there are like some international people who are doing it, like Joe Rogan and so on and so forth, Tom Bellew, and but in India it seems to be a very untapped thing. Maybe we have like a couple like uh, Ranveer Alabadia or basically a Raj Shamani, but you seem to like approach this slightly differently, even though that following that you have built is slowly you're increasing it, but you're still able to get some very amazing names. So please give us a short, no, not just a short, I mean a long introduction, and how did you think and get into this? Over to you,
Uh,
Nilesh.
Thank you so much, Amit bhai. You already did a great job to introducing me, but the journey that is begin of mine is actually started in COVID. Like we all are COVID born, I can say. I'm not about sure about you, but I'm a COVID born person. So the when I lost my first job in COVID in May 2020, yes, there was nothing in my plate. Like I'm coming from a computer science student, and then I did my first job was related to sales. So the education and the sales is not missing connecting at all. And when I lost that particular job, I was again on the same page. Ki, what's the next step for me? What can I do? So I search on Google, on YouTube, and search the famous keyword, how to make money online. And that's where I got to know about affiliate marketing. And I started with Facebook ads, SEO, website designing. I learned WordPress completely. Like I built some pages on Elementor, not as a service but for myself, to learn how to use it and all of these things. From Udemy itself, I purchased Udemy course because of a limiting belief to invest in myself at that point of time. And the entire year is going on the 2020, and in September 2020 I found a book called the .com Secret by Russell Brunson. And that book have a concept: you can become a reporter. And this one point is triggered in my mind, like I have to do this, I have to do this. I don't know how can I do, what's the process, what can I do, nothing is in my mind. But this one process is triggered in my mind, because that's something. Even before reading this pointer, that's something in my mind, like I have to be on a mic. Before that, I have a dream to become singer, to be on a Bollywood as an actor, and all of those kind of things. So I can say that mic and being on a stage talking with people, something I am finding relatability. So September 2020 I didn't take any action. Then the 2021 has started, and I started taking a challenge of Facebook Live. It's shared by Russell Brunson that if you complete 365 days of Facebook Live, your life is completely changed. So I take the challenge of 365 days Facebook Live, and without any day break, I complete this 365. But previously, like when I completed my 100 days, I got a message from a peer marketer, and he said, English, let's do an interview on your profile, because that time there is no show. Let's do an interview on your profile. Thought this is a thought of mine in 2020, and I think universe is pushing me toward that path. And first, I have a limiting belief whether I should start, what can I go and ask, how can I talk with this person, all of this limiting belief. But this is a statement I always from the day one of my journey: when opportunity comes, you have to grab. So I thought, let's grab it and then figure out how can I make it possible. So 1st June 2021 I recorded my first ever interview. And in the same time, one of the person who is already doing this kind of interview shows, and he already did interview with the big names, he reached out to me and he said, hey brother, I am launching my coaching, and I think I would love to have you as a first client of mine. Again, first I thought how it can help me, all the limiting beliefs, the questions in my mind. But I thought, let's go for it. Without any too much thinking, let's go for it. And on 1st July 2021, we got our name for my show. That is, I'm hosting, and because of that show, because of that platform, I'm able to invite all the big names that is on my show that you already mentioned. So that's how the journey begins, and that's how these all the things happen.
That's amazing to hear, Nilesh. To
Thank
go from not having any clue as to कि next चीज क्या होने वाली है, to
you.
come to a place where you have made a decision to not just improve your life but to improve other people's lives also is a very commendable decision. And I must tell you, it's only because of that decision that today I know of you, that I get to talk to you. So दूसरों का तो पता नहीं, पर मेरा तो भला हुआ. So I'm very happy that you took that decision. So let me ask you, Nilesh, that of course for podcasting, interview
Hmm.
podcasting,
Yes.
but can you throw some light on, let's say, small business owners, right? I mean, small business owners बहुत अलग अलग किस्म के हो सकते हैं, शायद सर्विस किस्म के हो सकते हैं, शायद शायद प्रोडक्ट किस्म के हो सकते हैं. वो कैसे मतलब यूज कर सकते हैं ये इंटरव्यू पॉडकास्ट को एक्चुअली, यू नो?
So, see, there is a lot of different ways we can use interview podcasts to grow our business. And let's take an example of service business. Okay? So, service business, what they are selling their own services or service kind of related to. If we take an example of services from digital world, Facebook ads हो सकता है, social media growth हो सकती है, website designing हो सकती है, funnel building हो सकती है, any kind of services they are selling. And in market, everybody have a problem. There is nobody in the world who have no problem. And if we come up with this thought that this person whom I am going to interview have some kind of problem, and before actually jumping on interview with that one person, I can find out what kind of problems he have in his life, and according to it I can give him that this is the solution I think you are looking for. Or instead of all of these things in mind, just one thing is, when I love this statement by one of our common mentors, Siddharth, when you close the sale, this sale is not closing, it's the opening of journey. And when you started interview, the interview is not when you started the interview process and complete this interview, it is not the ending, it's the opening of the journey with that one person. So when you talking with that one person, you got to understand like this is what his or her problem, and I think I can offer him the solution. Even if I am not able to offer him the solution, I can drive him to the right person, or I can build this connection, build this relationship to build some kind of collaboration in the long term, some kind of relationship that in the long term, so we can both get some benefit from each other's connection, right? That's how this small on business owners can get benefited. And one of the most important thing is, by interview podcast does not mean your intention is just to sell that one person to something of yours. If your intention is pure and clear that with this person I just want to talk, I have to get what his message and share it with my audience, that's where the reality of yours is visible in that one person's eyes. Otherwise it feels like you are just talking with him or her just for the sake of doing it, because you want to sell that one person something of yours. It is not. And that's how the small business owners can get benefited from the interview podcast. If you just start talking with them, if you just started understanding with them, and when you talking that one person of your guest who is on your show, you understand what's they are facing, and you it's very easy for you to get your solution to them. And one of the very easy thing you can keep with yourself is when you talk with somebody for at least 30 minutes to an hour, the perception is already or the trust is already establishing in your guest eye, because we are attending a lot of events. Suppose might be you are attending in person events related to your industry, and you find an expert or an influencer, and you go and take a picture with that one person. He is not going to remember that you take a picture with that one person. But when you talk with somebody for 30 minutes, for an hour, he's at least remember you for suppose 1 month, for suppose 1 year, or for suppose a lifetime, because you had a conversation with the person. And that's very different. And that's how you are building connection, you are building trust. And when the trust is there, you don't have to worry for the sales. The sales is automatically come. Just you have to deliver the right solution to the person. I hope it makes sense to you, your question.
Absolutely. I would actually like just like to round up what you said, Nilesh, and which is like very beautiful कि आप ये फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये पैसे के लिए नहीं कर रहे हो, ये भूल जाओ ये बात को कि ये आप पैसे के लिए कर रहे हो। दूसरी बात ये कि आप ये इसलिए कर रहे हो क्योंकि आपको एक कनेक्शन बनानी है, आपको मतलब आपके ऑडियंस को एक ऑथेंटिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देना है, ना ही सिर्फ आपका बट किसी और का भी, जो बेसिकली आप उनके या फील्ड में कुछ उनकी मास्टरी हो रही
Hmm.
हो, राइट?
Yes.
Exactly like basically what we are doing over here, right? Also one more thing that I think I heard you say is about uh, building that trust to be able to like talk to this person. So uh, there is an example that I feel is slightly relevant over here, where uh, what I did for a certain client who is into cybersecurity. We talked about, you know, uh, inviting big industries के IT heads for interviews कि आप how do you look at basically security and all of that. So we did like an entire series on just like security for big companies और big companies कैसे करती है, राइट? इससे क्या हुआ कि दो तीन चीज़ हुई। एक तो ये हुआ कि उनके जो ऑडियंसेस है, ये साइबर सिक्योरिटी कंपनी के जो ऑडियंस है, उनको समझ में आया कि बड़ी कंपनीज ये कैसे करती है। सेकंड ये हुआ कि जो साइबर सिक्योरिटी कंपनी, जो बड़ी आईटी कंपनीज है या जो भी बड़ी ब्रांड्स हैं, उनके साथ एक connection हो गया, and some of them even like basically wanted to talk to the cyber security company about the opportunities that are there in the space to collaborate together. So uh, so it like an open door invitation to talk at least.
Yes.
So I just feel that, there is an opportunity also over there, and also ऐसे I think I'm sure that you also meant to talk about कि जहाँ पे audiences are matching between people, right?
Hmm.
It helps build that connection a little bit
Yes.
extra.
Yes.
So that is the theme I think of what you said, Nilesh, is about that trust can build leads, leads can build sales, hence trust can help build sales, right?
Yes. Yes. And जो आपने फर्स्ट पॉइंटर मेंशन किया था ना, इफ यू डोंट हैव टू डू इट फॉर मनी, आई कैन से इफ यू आर, इफ यू वांट टू डू इट फॉर मनी, बट योर इंटेंशन इज नॉट कि मुझे इस पर्सन को कुछ बेचना ही है, अदरवाइज इट फील्स लाइक यू आर अ पुशी सेल्समैन, एंड योर इंटरव्यू शो इज नॉट गोइंग थ्रू फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म. यू हैव टू थिंक फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म कि मुझे, इवन मुझे इसको, ये मैं जो शो कर रहा हूँ जस्ट फॉर मेकिंग मनी, योर इंटेंशन इज कि मुझे एटलीस्ट कनेक्शन तो बिल्ड करना है पहले. ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि आई एम अ पुशी सेल्समैन. इफ यू आर जस्ट अ पुशी सेल्समैन, ये आपका शो बहुत पूरी तरीके से पीटेगा. जस्ट सिंपल है हिंदी लैंग्वेज. सो दैट्स द, बिकॉज दे फील कि ये इसका मोटिव क्या है.
वो
सो दैट्स द,
एनर्जी समझ में आती है ना लोगों को कि क्या
करेक्ट.
क्या है, व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट, ना ही जस्ट बेसिकली आपके इंटरव्यूई को, पर आपके ऑडियंसेस को भी पता चल चल रहा है कि
Yes.
व्हाट इज हैपनिंग ओवर हियर, ये क्या किस किस्म का एनर्जी एक्सचेंज हो रहा है. सो दैट इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट दैट यू पुट, दैट try to help build connections, don't try to be salesy.
Hmm.
सेल्स के इसमें के दायरे से इतना सोचना, मतलब सोच सकते हो, बट don't put it on the front end at least. That's, I'm guessing that is what
Yes,
you're
that's
trying to
what.
say, right? Fantastic. So let me just ask you, thank you so much first of all to, like, open this out in terms of small business owners, because Nilesh, I know that you work for coaches, right? And you've seen a lot of dividends, a lot of outcomes, a lot of benefits from doing this for coaches. Small businesses, I think, are somewhat like an untapped entity when it comes to this. मतलब इतना इंटरव्यू शोज जो स्मॉल बिजनेस ओनर्स करते हैं वो इतना ज़्यादा नहीं है मेरे हिसाब से. क्या आपने देखा है, कुछ एग्जांपल्स हैं आपके पास जो स्मॉल बिजनेस ओनर्स करते हैं शायद ऐसे?
अ, मेरा कुछ क्लाइंट है बट मुझे एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं आ रहा है कि उनका स्मॉल बिजनेस है, बट रिसेंटली, मतलब रिसेंटली यानी कि ऑन दिस फ्राइडे मैंने एक क्लाइंट ऑनबोर्ड किया है. एंड स्मॉल बिजनेस में ही इज हैविंग अ शॉप जहां पर वो लोज की बुक बेस सेल करते हैं. सो दैट्स वेयर वी आर ऑल्सो गोइंग टू एक्सप्लोर कि हाउ इट इज. आई गॉट द पॉइंट हाउ इट कैन हेल्प देम, बट स्टिल वी जस्ट स्टार्टेड वर्किंग टुगेदर, सो लेट्स सी कि हाउ इट गोज.
Fantastic. I hope that's a case study that we can talk about to,
Yes.
not maybe not right now, but over a period of time, आप भी ये explore करना and tell us the results. I have
Yes.
some results that I can talk about, but शायद पता नहीं है, एनडीए अभी भी लागू है नहीं है, वो एक बार देखना पड़ेगा मुझे. But we can definitely, like, maybe in a next interview, see how exactly कि क्या कर सकते हैं. So from that point of view, let to take this forward कि ऑफ कोर्स एक ये लीड जनरेशन टूल जैसे हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं, पर जो
Yes.
जिनको बिल्कुल भी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है ये पॉडकास्ट करने में, व्हाट डू यू थिंक नीलेश, व्हाट आर द लाइक द स्टेप्स दैट दे नीड टू टेक टू डू दिस? अभी दिस तो पता चल गया कि दिस क्या है, पर अभी
Hmm.
ये करने के लिए एक्चुअली उनको क्या करना चाहिए?
देखो, the first and most important thing that I teach to all of the in my workshop, in my peer club coaching is why. अगर आपका why क्लियर नहीं कि मुझे क्यों करना है, so it might be not good for you. And why means कि यार कुछ तो होना चाहिए. Like for me, मेरा एक बड़ा why, if I can say, was to talk with the big people. Second is कि I was not good in English communication. Even I am talking all my Facebook live in English itself, but जब किसी से आपको बात करनी होती है, and when it comes to international people, you are not good. You have a lot of fear in you. So वो एक मुझे overcome करना था, and that's the two reason I. And then over the time, a lot of different whys happened. But the point is why. Have a clarity with your why. And what other step is कि you have to have clarity कि whom do you want to interview. Number one. एक बड़ा मिस्टेक मैं क्या देखता हूँ कि like most of the time people is starting their show and they are interviewing any random guest. Random guest does not mean कि uh, anybody. Random guest means कि you are coming from coaching business and you are interviewing a person who is into e-commerce business. तो यहाँ पर कोई मैचिंग ही नहीं है. And he is not going to help or serve to your audience as well. So have a clarity of the guest you want to invite. Then then you can figure out like what's the kind of guest. I just, as we already discussed, the kind of guest. Then कि क्या होना चाहिए, like अगर मैं इंटरव्यू करता हूँ, if I am starting my show, how many episodes in a month I have to publish, how many episode, uh, if there is a 4 episode in a month I want to publish, so have a consistency with 4 episode. It's not like कि next month you can do nothing, or next month you can do only 2 episodes. Have that one consistency with your stuff. Like if I'm doing 4 episode a month, have 4 episode. If I'm doing 3 episode a month, have 3 episode. Then the also important factor is your show objective, which is why people can listen my show. So have a clarity of introduction, like this show is where I am interviewing XYZ person, and this is where you are going to learn about XYZ topic, and that's the reason you can listen to this show. So this is also giving the clarity to people, to listeners, that that's the reason I have to show, have a clear show objective. And also one of the very important point you have to keep when it comes to, if you are completely beginner, have a easy to remember name of your show. Ki, like most of the time what people is doing, even I also come across some interview podcast, they have very complicated name which is not able to easily remember, or like sometimes they use 7 to 8 words in their show name. Not a good thing. Have at least 3 to 4 words is good to go with your show name. Also you can check out whether this show name is available or not. Like if somebody is already have this show name, so don't take that show name, come up with some more ideas, come up with some more show name ideas. And how you can come up with, how you can get to know that whether this show name is exist or not, go to Spotify, go to YouTube, search the name that is in your mind. Even you can go to the URL purchasing platform like GoDaddy, Namecheap, and from there you can put your show name that is in your mind, and then see whether this .com URL is available or .in URL is available or not. And that's how you are understanding whether this show name is for me, or I can take go with this show name or not. So this is how you can consistently do it. There is a lot of things, but yeah, I shared a few steps, few very important steps that you can keep with.
Thank you so much for that answer. There's like so much to unpack over here,
Hmm.
uh, including things like the way to go forward over here is, तो पहले तो पता रहना चाहिए कि आप ये क्यों कर रहे हो, आपके शो का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है। उसके हिसाब से जब आप का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लियर होता है तो फिर आपको क्लैरिटी आती है कि कौन से गेस्ट को आपको बुलाना चाहिए, राइट। ना ही कोई भी, मतलब ठीक है, बट इट वुड बी बेटर फॉर यू इफ देर इज लाइक इन माई मार्केटिंग वाला ये प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट होनी चाहिए,
Yes.
ऑडियंसेस का मिलाप होना चाहिए। देर शुड बी बेसिकली समथिंग दैट योर ऑडियंसेस कैन टेक अवे फ्रॉम दिस पर्सन's expertise, intelligence, experiences, so on and so forth, right? So having that clarity of objective, of purpose from that guest as well. I think another thing that you touched upon is ensure that you're keeping a steady, consistent schedule. अगर महीने में एक बार कर रहे हो तो महीने में एक बार ही करो, 2 बार कर रहे हो तो 2 बार करो, 3 बार कर रहे हो तो 3 बार करो. So maintain the schedule and the frequency of this. And the last thing that मुझे एक बहुत ही बड़ा bulb on मुझे भी हुआ यहाँ पे is that currently I have no show name. So thank you for that. I mean, I never even thought of maybe uh, coming up with a name of a show. Uh, but thank you for that. I'm pretty sure that I can rack your brains also on coming up with a interesting show name for this show.
बिल्कुल, yes, sure.
So जो क्या बोलते हैं, इंसेप्शन, जेनेसिस, स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट, वो शो नेम का यहाँ
Yes,
हुआ है,
definitely.
अभी यहाँ हुआ है. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग दैट
Okay.
and doing those things. Another, this brings me to also a very interesting point that you said, and which मैंने अभी तक कवर नहीं किया है, कि इंटरव्यू पॉडकास्टिंग, राइट? ये इंटरव्यू पॉडकास्ट को एक्चुअली कंज्यूम कहाँ करते हैं लोग, राइट? सो यू ब्रॉट अप थिंग्स लाइक स्पॉटिफाई, यूट्यूब, यहाँ पे बेसिकली आपकी इंटरव्यूज जो है वो लोग कंज्यूम कर सकते हैं. कैन यू लाइक जस्ट throw some light on like the platforms that are there, which are the best platforms to distribute your interview podcasts?
कंज्यूम कहाँ करते हैं, तो मोस्टली कंज्यूमिंग is happening on YouTube or on Spotify as well. Like if people is on traveling mode and they love, then they the audio platform, not only Spotify, like Google, iTunes and all of these things, and on YouTube. अभी रहा आपका क्वेश्चन कि हाउ द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्लेटफॉर्म. So the distribution platform you can choose Anchor.fm. Right now it's owned by Spotify, so you can search the podcaster.spotify.com, and from there you can start connecting. It's a free tool, by the way, so you don't have to invest any kind of money on this uh, tool itself. And this tool, Anchor.fm or podcaster.spotify.com, is allowing you to publish your podcast on more than 10 to 15 platforms, including Spotify, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and some of the platform from Western market as well. So the Anchor.fm, which is a free one, and you can, if you want to go with the paid version, you can go with the Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout. The reason of having a paid version is also because they are giving you some more extra platforms. Like the Anchor, the free version is not allowing you to publish your podcast on some platform. So Buzzsprout is allowing you, and also some kind of security is there. So this is the big difference in the free one and the paid one, if this is the question is coming. But otherwise, if you want to go with the free, which is a spot podcaster.spotify.com, or you can just search Anchor.fm, it is already lending you to that one. Or if you want to go with the paid version, Buzzsprout is something you can go with. There is a lot of tools, but I just recommend this two because I come across these two tools itself only. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
So,
on YouTube तो free ही है ये.
right. So, what do you actually recommend? अभी पॉडकास्टिंग जब ये नाम सुनते हैं या तो बेसिकली गूगल पे सर्च करते हैं, तो लोगों का ये सोचना है कि ये जो है एक ऑडियो ओनली प्लेटफॉर्म है, राइट? मोस्टली इट I've come when I talk to people about podcasting एज सच, लोगों का मानना है कि हाँ स्पॉटिफाई पे मतलब गाड़ी के ऑडियो के ऊपर जो सुनते हैं वो ना. What is your perspective about this? Is it better to just have like a face to face, like video recording and then maybe have an audio thing, or कैसा करना चाहिए आपके हिसाब से?
I suggest both. बचपन में हमने बॉलीवुड की मूवीज देखी थी और अक्षय कुमार का गाना सुना था. एंड जब हम वो गाना सुनते थे तो हमको लगता था कि ये अक्षय कुमार ही है जो गा रहा है, या फिर सलमान खान ही है जो गा रहा है. बट इन रियली देयर इज अ बिहाइंड द सीन सिंगर्स वाज देयर. अब हम तो छोटे थे तो वी थॉट कि यार शायद वही खा रहा है, बट नाउ द टाइम इज चेंज. बट द पॉइंट आई वांट टू पास हियर इज कि build your trust, build your credibility with your voice and with your face, both. So go with both platform. Or आज तो YouTube also have a feature which is a podcast. So you just need to create on a podcast on your YouTube channel. It is also a free. जैसे आप playlist create करते हो, same you can create podcast, and जितना भी आपका podcast है वो वहां पर डालिए. And even YouTube का जो audio platform है, like YouTube audio, it is also coming up with the podcast. So जितने भी आपके YouTube के ऑडियो वीडियो पॉडकास्ट है, इट कन्वर्ट इनटू ऑडियो. इंडिया में ये फीचर नहीं है अभी, बट यूएसए में वो फीचर है जहां पर आपका जो पॉडकास्ट वीडियो पॉडकास्ट है वो यूट्यूब ऑडियो पॉडकास्ट पे इन प्लेइंग इन द ऑडियो फॉर्मेट. सो दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स इज हैपनिंग. एंड वीडियो पॉडकास्ट ऑडियो पॉडकास्ट दोनों के थ्रू जाइए, बिकॉज यू हैव टू बिल्ड योर वैल्यू रेपुटेशन विद फेस एंड वॉइस बोथ.
फैंटास्टिक. थैंक यू सो मच. मतलब इतना सारा वैल्यू, क्योंकि मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि आई एम श्योर इट मस्ट नॉट बी अ फीचर दैट्स देयर इन इंडिया, बट अगर यूएस में काफ़ी टेस्ट हो जाए तो यहाँ पे आने की संभावना काफ़ी अच्छी है. स्पेशली आई मीन इवन कम टू थिंक ऑफ इट, थिंग्स लाइक चैट जीपीटी, फर्स्ट इट लॉन्च्ड इन द वेस्ट एंड देन इट केम ओवर हियर. अभी गूगल सर्च का सर्च जनरेटिव एक्सपीरियंस जो है एसजी, दोज वर फर्स्ट पुट इन द वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज. तो पता तो हमें अभी पता चल जाती है. एंड हैड यू नॉट told me or our audience about that there may be a YouTube feature, a YouTube audio or podcast feature coming soon, I wouldn't
Hmm.
have known, and it would have like flown under the radar. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Nilesh. Uh, which brings me again to an interesting point of uh, Nilesh. You have like interviewed some really impressive names, right? From John Lee Dumas and Christina Mand and so on and so forth. What can you just like take me through the preparation process? How do you prepare for this? मतलब in the sense that चलो identify तो कर लिया,
Hmm.
right? कि इनसे podcast करना है या basically interview करना है इनका.
Hmm.
Then what is the next step? How do you go? I'm sure कुछ तो systematic शायद लिखा हुआ ना हो, पर दिमाग में तो है कि पहले ये करना, ये करना, ये करना, ये करना. Can you just take us through the preparation process, brother?
Amazing and interesting one. So जितने भी नाम मेरे हैं, that is in my Excel sheet. And yeah, I want to share this one thing is don't keep any data in your mind. जो भी आपको नाम आते हैं कि लाइक सपोज यू आर स्टार्टिंग योर इंटरव्यू शो और आपको लगता है कि ये इस पर्सन को मैं इंटरव्यू शो पे बुला सकता हूँ या सकती हूँ, जस्ट राइट देयर नेम इन योर एक्सेल शीट. तो सपोज इन फ्यूचर आपको किसी गेस्ट को लाना है एंड गो एंड चेक द एक्सेल शीट. सो द पॉइंट इज आई एम कीपिंग ऑल द नेम्स इन माई एक्सेल शीट एंड देन वहां से आई एम विजिटिंग टू all of the platforms. Like suppose I want to invite one person. He's having 1 million followers, or suppose he have $1 billion business. Let's take this example. So I check where he is active the most. Is it on Instagram? Is it on Facebook? Or is it on LinkedIn? Or is it on Twitter itself? So from there, once I figure out that this person is active most on this platform, I started building relationship with that one person. How I build relationship? So on Facebook and Instagram, we have a feature called stories. Facebook stories, Insta stories. So I check what kind of stories they are publishing, and I am consistently engaging with them on all of that stories. I'm messaging them uh, according to the message they are sending or they are uploading to these platforms, and then I'm sending a gratitude message according to that one message. Again, the next step is how that one person actually inspire me. So suppose I want to invite Pengjun on my show. Pengjun is the first person who actually introduced me to Russell Brunson. Because of his YouTube video, I get to know about ClickFunnels affiliate, and then .com secret, then Russell Brunson, and all of this thing. I mentioned this one particular statement that, hey Ping, because of you in 2020, yes, in I think August 2020, I got to know about ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, and from there, I interviewed a lot of big names. So I'm grateful for you, and I also make a huge changes in my life, in my business, whatsoever things happened in my life because of that one person. I mentioned that specifically, and then according to it, I build relationships. So I am making them feel good. That's a very good statement I learned in January 2021 when I started my journey with Russell Brunson challenge, the one funnel away challenge. There was one guest. So you have to make them feel good, look good, and they have to look a better life for themselves. So this is something stake in my mind, and that's how I'm doing this. I'm making them feel good consistently, and at least I'm be in front of them without giving up. I'm always in front of them, whether they publish something or I'm adding value in their life. Now, if people have this question like they are already on top, what kind of value I can add? So this is a value that I am adding, that I am including one more point in their point itself, or even like we are I shared in our mastermind call, like somebody has created a fake account of X person. So I mentioned that, hey, somebody is trying to create new account of yours. So this is another way I am informing them, I'm adding value, and I'm showing the genuine care about that one person. That's how I'm building connection network. And that's the then the step is coming when I feel that this person started knowing me a little bit. not 100% but little bit. I can tell them like, hey, I have this show and this is the people I interviewed. I would love to have you on my show. And that's how I'm able to invite all of these people. And yeah, sometimes people said didn't respond. Sometimes people, even I'm very lucky, I can say, because out of 90 people invitation, I got around 80-85 yes. So the closing rate you can calculate. So that's where I can say I'm lucky. I'm not sure, but yes. So if you just show the genuine love, real truth, they will share. If for some reason they didn't respond, just have to do the follow up in a proper way, not like कि पागलों जैसे follow up करना है, not like that. Have a proper follow up. And even suppose after some follow ups they didn't respond, don't give up and start rebuilding the connection, rebuild the network, and then after certain point of time ask again. That's how you can make it possible.
नीलेश, every time you talk about this थोड़े बहुत ऐसे goose bumps आते हैं मुझे, because people think that building connections is very easy. मुझे कभी कभी रिमाइंड करना पड़ता है कि यू नो टू इवन मेंटेन द रिलेशनशिप विद योर पेरेंट्स, इट टेक्स वर्क, इट टेक्स एनर्जी, राइट? तो आप ये कैसे सोच सकते हो कि आपने एक मैसेज भेज दिया फॉर लाइक डूइंग बिजनेस एंड दे आर गोइंग टू respond? This is a, the more I listen to you, I believe that this is a process. Building relationships is a process. uh, and come to think about luck and your conversion ratios, Nilesh, I feel that it, this one statement, I don't know who said it, but some very wise person said it, that luck is when hard work meets opportunity. Consistent hard work, जब वो अपॉर्चुनिटी, आप हार्ड वर्क करते रहते हो और फिर अपॉर्चुनिटी जो है वो शायद 1 महीने में एक बार आ सकती है, या 1 हफ्ते में एक बार आ सकती है, या बेसिकली 1 साल में आ सकती है, या 10 साल में आ सकती है। पर आप जब हार्ड वर्क करते जा रहे हो तो आपको चांसेस है कि आप वो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ को देखो, परखो, पहचानो और ग्रैब करो, राइट? सो व्हेन यू से अबाउट लक, I feel if that is luck, that is where you are, Nilesh. That the consistency with which you end up getting people to talk to you, share their secrets openly with you, that you're building those genuine connections. For anyone who like watches your show, it, we feel that ये एक genuine connection है, ये एक transactional चीज़ नहीं है. So from that perspective, I must congratulate you that you're doing a fantastic job. That is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, and get my audience also to recognize this. So just I would like to like just quickly round up what you just said. The first thing that I think you said was like कोई भी डेटा आपके सर में मत रखो, बहुत ही वॉलेटाइल जगह है, आप भूल जाते हो और फिर वो होता नहीं है, especially in terms of action taking, right? It doesn't happen if it's just in your mind. And in terms of like the kind of preparation that you do to identify, is to see where your prospect or the person that you want to interview is most active, वहाँ पे जहाँ पे basically उनकी activity ज़्यादा है, जहाँ पे वो basically engage कर रही है audience से, वहाँ पे you are trying to identify them and basically try to build a, a relationship, a connection. One of the straightforward ways of doing that is perhaps like looking at their Instagram or Facebook stories and like building value in conversation with them. And building value comes from basically adding your own experiences with their own, flagging something that perhaps you noticed on their behalf. A great example that you gave was, there is a there is a fake account on your name to show that your genuine interest आपके success में मेरा success है types, to build that kind of a relationship, not to feel dejected if you are not getting responses. Keep trying to build relationships, keep trying to follow up. uh, I'm sure there is a whole lot more to this. But to start off with, thank you so much, Nilesh, for at least opening out the process for us. So, um, what I feel is that while you've given all of this, I think that for newcomers, ये थोड़ा सा बहुत सारे मूविंग पार्ट्स है इसमें, राइट? मतलब एक ही चीज़ नहीं है कि आप मतलब लोगों को बुलाओ, इंटरव्यू चालू करो, कर दो. It's not as simple as it looks, correct? So from that perspective, I know that you've like talked about a whole lot of things in bits and pieces, but ये जो overwhelming feeling जो है, क्या कुछ tools कुछ tactics है जो small business owners को पता रहना चाहिए to do this podcast?
देखो, if it's not overwhelming, if I can break this in chunks, suppose you want to do 2 interview in a month. Just take an example of 2 interview in a month. अब 2 interview आपको करने हैं, so how many times you have in between each interview? 15 days. Let's take a 14 days. So in 14 days you can do all the preparation related to doing research, preparing questions, setting the introduction. That's the three thing you need, like researching about guest, preparing question about guest, and knowing about guest. And how you know? In the research part itself. And question भी यहीं से आ जाएंगे if you do a great job in research. And if you put just 30 minutes in a day about a person who is already booked a show for you, you are good to go. Now the point is, अब मुझे बुक तो करना है अपने शो को, अपने गेस्ट के लिए. अगर मुझे 2 इंटरव्यू भी हर मंथ करने, तो एटलीस्ट मुझे 2 गेस्ट हर मंथ होने तो चाहिए, उसके लिए भी तो मुझे करना है. स्टिल अभी बहुत सारा टाइम यू माइट बी वेस्टिंग ऑन इंस्टाग्राम रील्स. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ वेस्टिंग इट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम रील्स एंड स्क्रॉलिंग, go and open the person profile and engage with his or her content. Message him whatever the message you feel to share that one person. Connect with that one person, share your learnings. Suppose you are completely a beginner, so share what is the one learning you have from his experience, and tag him. Another way to be in front of that one person, right? So that's the small thing you can do. And all of these things that I shared with you is not taking too much time. Even just suppose you find that this person is somebody whom I want to interview. Now you can open his profile, his latest, check his latest post, read or watch what's the content, and according to it drop a meaningful comment. Be in front of him, drop a meaningful comment. Is also coming under 4 to 5 lines or even 7 lines. That's it. And if you adding this kind of values, you are getting noticed by that one person. And if you do it consistently for at least 10 days or at least 10 times, I can say, you get noticed. And you get that one person very easily by you already build a connection. Because in today's world, especially in our industry, we don't have a lot of views, reach, and all. But the level of quality we can have is very important. And also, if suppose we have a lot of uh, followers on our social media, still we don't have a lot of engagement. So suppose this is something I got from one of my mentor. So suppose somebody have 100,000 followers, he or she might be getting in between 1,000 to 10,000 or more than that likes or views. Like now, out of this, he might be have again 1,000, 2,000 likes or something, 100 comments out of 1,000 or 1,000 comments. Out of 1,000, if you can see that there is not too much of meaningful comment, the ratio of meaningful comment is might be in between 10 to 100. And out of 10 to 100, if you consistently be in front of them, you are standing out from the crowd. You are standing out from the crowd, and that's where you are make it possible. And it is not going to take you too much time, because 1 मिनट का रील होता है, उसको अगर अच्छे से देखो और उसको कमेंट लिखने बैठोगे तो 5 मिनट लगेगा। आई एम टेकिंग 5 मिनट भी बहुत ज्यादा बोलो, इट्स नॉट टेकिंग 5 मिनट। अगर कुछ टेक्स्ट बेस्ड कंटेंट है उसको पढ़ोगे तो कितना लंबा डाल देंगे, इंस्टाग्राम पे ज्यादा लंबा नहीं डलता है, नॉट ऑन लिंक्डइन, नॉट ऑन फेसबुक। उसको पढ़ोगे, 5 मिनट लगा उसको पढ़ने में। अब उसको 5 मिनट की कन्वर्ट चैट जो टेक्स्ट है उसको आप अपना कुछ मसाला, इफ यू कैन ऐड योर ओन फ्लेवर्स एंड देन ड्रॉप अनदर मीनिंगफुल कमेंट। और ना आज की तारीख में तो इवन चैट जीपीटी है, यू कैन मेंशन दिस प्रॉम्प्ट, हे चैट जीपीटी, दिस इज अ लॉन्ग फॉर्म पोस्ट दैट आई गॉट फ्रॉम दिस पर्सन, हेल्प मी टू राइट डाउन अ मीनिंगफुल कमेंट। एंड अगेन जब वो चैट जीपीटी इन 5 to 7 लाइन्स मेंशन, बी स्पेसिफिक, 5 to 7 लाइन। अब जब वो चैट जीपीटी ने आपको आउटपुट दिया है, डोंट जस्ट कॉपी एंड पेस्ट, have again change, do some your own stuff, add on some on your own flavors, otherwise वो पता पड़ जाएगा कि ये ह्यूमन का है या फिर मशीन का है। so when you add this kind of things, that's where you have everything। और कितना टाइम लगेगा चैट, इट्स नॉट टेकिंग मोर देन 10 मिनट्स, ऑल ऑफ दिस थिंग्स। इसको मैंने एक्सप्लेन थोड़ा लंबा कर दिया, बट इट इज नॉट टेकिंग टू मच टाइम मोर देन 10 मिनट्स।
I agree. As a coach, आपने लंबा कर दिया, but actually it doesn't take too much time. So Nilesh, thank you so much for like breaking it down that it doesn't need to be overwhelming. It needs to be just basically एक शायद एक process आपको build करने की ज़रूरत है. Uh, any tools that you recommend for people to do podcasts? Sure, Zoom पे तो कर सकते हैं शायद, but कुछ और है जो better है?
आई लव स्ट्रीम यार्ड, क्योंकि उसके ऊपर वीडियो क्वालिटी थोड़ा बेटर आता है। स्ट्रीम यार्ड इज फ्री एंड पेड वर्जन बोथ। यू कैन ऑल्सो गो विद री स्ट्रीम, मैंने यूज नहीं किया री स्ट्रीम, बट इट इज ऑल्सो गुड एज अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिव्यूज एंड ऑल द पीपल आर यूजिंग। अदरवाइज स्ट्रीम यार्ड, जूम, री स्ट्रीम, दिस इज द 3 टूल यू नीड टू रिकॉर्ड योर इंटरव्यू। और पब्लिशिंग के लिए यूट्यूब फ्री है, स्पॉटिफाई डॉट पॉडकास्टर डॉट कॉम भी फ्री है, पब्लिश कर दो। और इफ यू want to do some editing, so previously जब मैं start ही किया था अपना show, I was using the OpenShot. OpenShot is a very free or easy to use tool. OPENSHOT still is in my computer, मैं उसको use नहीं करता अभी because I have a video editor who is doing for me, but OpenShot is a very free and easy to use tool। अगर reels बनानी है तो InShot का use करो, or Filmora if you want to go with some better quality and paid version, so go with the Filmora। that's it, बस हो गया आपका इंटरव्यू डन।
फैंटास्टिक, थैंक यू सो मच टू लाइक जस्ट ब्रिंग दैट आउट, क्योंकि कोई कोई लोग सोचते कि मतलब कुछ तो क्वालिटी नाम की भी कोई चीज़ होती है, तो बेसिकली हाउ कैन आई लाइक गेट दैट क्वालिटी। एंड आई जस्ट नोटिस दैट जूम के ऊपर मतलब वो जो क्वालिटी होती है वो इट्स अ थोड़ा सा उसमें अ लिटिल टू मच टू बी डिजायर्ड over there. So thank you so much for audiences. This is being done on StreamYard. While it is available for free, uh, the paid versions also are there. I am in no way affiliated to StreamYard so far. Uh,
You can be।
yeah, but StreamYard, and I've heard good things about Restream as well. So please do and do check it out. Uh, Coming to one of like the final questions, Nilesh, is that you mentioned a couple की लोग क्या mistakes करते हैं. So I would like to hear कि क्या मिस्टेक्स करते हैं, क्या अवॉइड करना चाहिए, क्योंकि मतलब स्टार्टिंग में श्योर नौसिखिया जो होता है वो मिस्टेक्स से ही सीख सकता है, पर आई एम श्योर दैट एज अ कोच योर सेल्फ यू मस्ट टेल योर स्टूडेंट्स राइट कि खुद के मिस्टेक्स बनाओ, हमने टेस्ट कर लिए ऑलरेडी. सो व्हाट आर दोज लाइक कॉमन मिस्टेक्स दैट जनरली पीपल डू वाइल interviewing?
One common mistake I already mentioned, which is inviting anybody. You have to be specific with your guest. Second and most big mistake is they run behind perfection. परफेक्शन मतलब मुझे चाहिए महंगा कैमरा, महंगा लाइट, महंगा ये, महंगा वो. दैट्स नॉट द केस फॉर यू. I don't have a DSLR for me. I'm just using my web camera. That's normal web camera, right? So this is a second big mistake is perfectionism. Third is they think whether this is right time or not. Or I am saying most of the time the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and the second best time is today. It's a Chinese proverb that is you can so just start now and don't be run behind perfection because perfection is not coming. If you can watch my any of the previous 10 to 20 interviews I did in my laptop web camera. आई डोंट हैव उस टाइम तो मेरे पास ये जो वेब कैमरा अभी यूज कर रहा हूँ दैट वाज नॉट देयर. सो लैपटॉप वेब कैमरा था एंड उसका क्वालिटी बिल्कुल घटिया मतलब बिल्कुल जीरो और माइनस जीरो यू कैन से. सो आई रिकॉर्डेड इज स्टिल रिकॉर्डेड. और I don't have a web camera, the ring light that at that point of time. So what I was doing is कि एक फोन मम्मी का लिया, यहाँ रखा, वेब फ्लैश लाइट ऑन किया, दूसरा फोन मेरा लिया, यहाँ रखा, वेब लाइट फ्लैश लाइट ऑन किया, and that's how I'm getting focused on my face. So this is kind of imperfection I am talking, or this is how you can do, and this is a learning process you can go. Yeah, one more big mistake I want to suggest here is which is people think that by just having messenger script I can invite anybody. No, you don't. You have to follow the process that I shared with you in the just 30 minutes ago or what. Build relationship, build network, build connection. Don't just directly pitch somebody, hey, I want to have you on my show. Don't just. If that one person knows you then it is good to go, but still at least have some connection, have some. Otherwise वो सोचेगा कौन है भाई तू क्या है. So have that one thing in your plate like before actually. Or one more important thing is if you are completely a beginner, मतलब आपने कभी वीडियो जर्नी भी स्टार्ट नहीं किया है, और इवन इफ यू डिड इट बट स्टिल you are not confident with yourself, so invite few first 10 guests फ्रॉम योर नोन जिनसे आप कंफर्टेबली बात कर सको, कंफर्टेबली बैठ सको, एंड देन रीच आउट टू सम बिग पीपल ऑन योर फॉर योर शो. सो यू एटलीस्ट गेट सम कॉन्फिडेंस. अदरवाइज इफ यू लूज ऑन द फर्स्ट इट सेल्फ आप गिव अप कर दोगे. सो डोंट हैव दिस वन थिंग. If I can add on one more mistake, so when you get a confirmation from your guest and suppose he or she is a busy person, so have confirmation on the calendar link. So you might be use calendly tidycal once up for that, or you can get the email address of your guest and send them a calendar invite. That's what you can do, because you already booked their get their time, but still they are busy in their life, in their business, they might be forgot very easily. So you have to have that confirmation on their calendar, so it didn't get any mess on the interview day. So this is a I think 5 7 I'm not counting, but yeah 5 10 whatever the mistakes. The list is goes on and on, but this is a common mistakes you can avoid.
Wow, Nilesh. I mean, that was, I think, very succinctly put uh, for all the mistakes, including things like perfectionism के लिए मतलब don't try to be perfect. The tools are खाली एक साधन है ये करने के लिए. It's not the real actual thing. It's about building relationships. It's don't wait for the right time. मतलब खुदा आके आपके लिए मतलब इंटरव्यू कभी नहीं करने वाला, राइट? Don't just pitch. Start with easy people that you can talk to, who are known to you in your circle, जिससे आपके already कुछ comfort है, and send confirmations by using calendars so that you can actually block a busy person's time. These are things that I'm sure, like, even I would have forgotten. So thank you so much for bringing this up, since मैं तो नौसिखिया हूँ in this, and it's 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 fantastic to like round all of this up, Nilesh. uh, thank you so much for all of this like mind dump जो है आपने दिया, which was not just helpful but also actionable कि आप ये कर सकते हो, आप ये कर सकते हो. Nilesh, would you like to like tell our audience something, some message that you want to give them about doing interview podcasting?
One message I always love to share is don't give up, because we never know what is in our plate from universe. I didn't mention this one thing at the story starting of my story, but there was a time when my first job was a sales job, and in that job my task is to deliver a pamphlet to nearby stores, nearby grocery stores, और मेरी खुद की सिटी में, नियर टू माई रिलेटिव्स. एंड इन इंडिया अगर आप एक अच्छे फैमिली बैकग्राउंड से आते हो, एक अच्छे एजुकेशन से आते हो, पीपल थिंक कि ये क्या कर रहा है, पेम्पलेट बांट रहा है, ये क्या कर रहा है. दिस इज द फेस आई सी इन माई लाइफ, एंड आई एम वेरी discomfort when it comes to giving an interview for myself to get a job. एचआर के सामने बैठना पॉसिबल नहीं था. आई वॉज शिवरिंग इन एन कोल्ड एसी रूम, बट नाउ आई एम इंटरव्यूइंग द पीपल who is handling the thousands of people in their company, or handling a $1 million billion dollar business. So this is what I want to share. Don't give up, and you don't know what is there for you in universe.
Another thing that I'd like to share about Nilesh is the last point that he said, that interview known people. That is what I am doing also. Nilesh is not just a community member, but uh, a friend that I have made over a very short period of time, in the last 6 months, perhaps, uh, and I've seen the amount of value that he he presents people. Even like just normally talking to people, there is like मुंह से कुछ like सोना या हीरे निकलते हैं, as such. And he's also part of a published book called I Can Coach, so please check that out. Nilesh, if people, I'm sure people would like to learn from you. This is a skill that is worth having. I'm sure a lot of people from my audience also will attest to that fact, that ये जो है ये एक स्किल है, ये एक कला है, ये मतलब लोगों से बात करना एक कला है. शायद इनबॉर्न टैलेंट ना हो. बहुत सारे लोग जो है वो इंट्रोवर्ट होते हैं, राइट. पर वो शेल से बाहर निकलना और बेसिकली ये इंटरव्यू करना, एक आई एम गेसिंग दिस इज अ स्किल दैट कैन बी लर्नड, एंड यू आर द राइट पर्सन टू लर्न द स्किल, आई फील. सो वेयर कैन पीपल कनेक्ट विद यू एंड लर्न फ्रॉम यू, Nilesh?
So you can just search me on Instagram, Jen_Nilesh. You can find me. Then on Facebook, Nilesh Jain, or on YouTube, search Nilesh Jain Interview Show. You can easily find me. या फिर just search The Entrepreneur Warrior Show. You can find me.
That's amazing. Nilesh, can you just like take us through a little bit कि जो आप ट्रेनिंग लेते हो, आप बेसिकली जो कोचिंग करते हो, वो कैसी होती है, एंड what are like the highlight points that people can learn from you, and over what period of time, कितना समय लगता है ये सब learn करने के लिए आपसे?
So basically, what I am teaching is that I am teaching कंप्लीट प्रोसेस, जो भी मैंने आपको यहाँ पे इस सीरीज में, इस इंटरव्यू में शेयर किया, लाइक हाउ टू बिल्ड रिलेशनशिप, हाउ टू बिल्ड नेटवर्क, हाउ टू रीचिंग आउट, हाउ कैन मैसेज, हाउ यू कैन डू रिसर्च अबाउट योर गेस्ट, हाउ यू कैन प्रिपेयर क्वेश्चंस. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आई एम टीचिंग. एंड when it comes to learning this process, it is not taking you too much time. It's just taking you 30 days. If you give
Wow,
yourself 30 days, you can master this process. But when it comes to implementing this process, it takes time. Takes at least 6 months to a year. So this is where I'm giving accountability and all. But 30 days is a good to go time where you can learn and implement the process.
fantastic. Nilesh, I hope that you will like come on again on
बिल्कुल।
this show जिसका नाम नहीं है फिलहाल. The
आपके
next
शो
time
का
you
नाम
come, there
जल्दी
will
लाते
be
हैं हम।
there'll be a name for this show. But thank you so much for sharing so much information, and also I'm certain that we can, I guess, collaborate and talk a little bit more closer and deeper into how to nurture an audience, how to basically invite audiences, how to identify a whole lot of audiences. So I'm looking forward to maybe a part two, part three, part four, part five of having these conversations with you. I'm sure our audience will definitely gain so much knowledge from this and go out and build their own audiences from this. Thank you so much, Nilesh. Thank you so much. I can't be more grateful for you to do this. Uh, do you have any लास्ट वर्ड्स ऑफ एडवाइस फॉर मी? ऑडियंस तो शायद मेरे से सीख लेंगी, बट मेरे लिए कुछ एडवाइस है क्या आपके लिए कि
आपने
कैसे
बेस्ट
वाई
किया।
शुड आई डू दिस?
एवरीथिंग इज बेस्ट, मतलब मजा आ गया है। सो मेनी थिंग्स जो कि मैंने शायद नहीं शेयर की थी अपनी लाइफ की, लाइक स्पेसिफिकली द पॉइंट वेर आई एम गोइंग आउट एंड गिविंग द सेल्स, द आई एम स्टिल स्टकिंग टू फॉर दैट वन पार्ट, बट यू ओपन मी एवरीथिंग, यू गेट एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम मी। तो आपने बेस्ट जॉब किया, एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी। और आपने जो बोला कि इन 6 मंथ वी बिकम अ गुड फ्रेंड, यस ट्रू, because we meet in like TTT March, and it is October, so like 6 7 months, more than that, not more than that, but we become a good friend, brother। मजा आया आपके शो पे। और जल्दी आपके शो का नाम लेके आते हैं। So you have
थैंक
a
यू सो
final
मच
show
निलेश.
there।
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nilesh. I'm sure that we'll do this again and again and again.
बिल्कुल।
Uh, Please come back. I hope you have an amazing career. And I'm watching closely how you're building from strength to strength, and the amount of good information, the amount of amazing people that you're bringing on the show. Uh, Guys, please check out Nilesh on his socials. I will put the link in the descriptions as well as on screen. It'll be shown to you. Please look at him, and there is a whole lot that you can learn from just observing Nilesh for sure. 110%. Even if you don't plan on learning directly from Nilesh, please look at his stuff. Amazing stuff, the way he conducts his interviews with the amount of confidence that he has learned. It's not just a talent, it's a skill that he has developed over time. तो अगर नीलेश कर सकते हैं तो definitely, with some time and patience and energy, I'm sure each one of us can do that. uh,
Yes,
Nilesh, you are a person to aspire to. You're an inspiration. Thank you for being on the show, brother, and I will definitely call you again. Thank you so
thank
much.
you, thank you for inviting।